Well, today's the day, folks. Today's the day. We're going to get started on the ATV, and I'm glad to have you with me. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the first couple of episodes. We're working on episode number 4 right now, which we had promised that was going to be the teardown of this particular ATV. We're going to look at some bushings in the rear end and a bearing for sure in this tire, maybe on the other side as well. Additionally to that, I'm going to look at swapping out the shocks in it because in the back end, because there's quite a sag in the back end. We use this rig for towing around a little trailer around our homestead property here, and you know, sometimes we can carry quite a bit of weight in it, and I think it's kind of contributed to the back end sagging a little bit. So we want to make sure that we, you know, take care of it the best that we can. This, in all honesty, the King Quad is probably the best running bike. We had several different machines at our old place because we were really big into ATV trail riding. That's why I built this, you know, rack that we could, because this was permanently installed in our old place. And, you know, I had a lot of machines to take care of. At one point in time, I was taking care of 5 different machines, including a side-by-side and then 4 ATVs. So there was always something in the service bay, getting oil changes or getting, you know, a part swapped out or whatever. Now, I'm definitely a backyard mechanic. I don't do any deep engine repair. I have a great neighbor for that if I get it snagged for engine repair. But I'm what you would call a bolt-on mechanic. I do bushings and you know, A-arms and all that stuff, and shocks and brakes, and you know, I dabble with electrical as well, so I can figure out most electrical issues. But anyway, we're gonna get after that today. It's been sitting on the rack since we got this thing dug out of the woods, and it's time now to get it down and get it all washed up and start ripping it apart and seeing what needs to be done to it. So first order of business, we'll get it down off the rack and we'll get it washed up. Join me, it's gonna be fun. Here we go. Still in 4-wheel drive, I don't think we need that today. And we're gonna wash all of our appendages and all of our head and everything. Make sure our head doesn't get crammed by the garage door. I just like to let them roll down. There's no sense in going fast. Nobody's gonna beat me to it, that's for sure. Okay, I went ahead and just started ripping it apart a little bit more off camera. Sorry for the audio, I took my mic off just to be a little more free. I've got it taken down as much as I want to take it down in the rear. This plastic is all nice and loose, so now I have a really good access to everything back here once I get the wheels off and I get it jacked up. That'll be the next, well, I guess the first step really for me now is I'm going to take it off the ramp and I'm going to wash it off really good. And then let it dry, and then put it back up on the ramp, and then start tearing apart the rear end. And I'll take the plastics off the front end and get after that winch and check the brakes while I'm up there and all that stuff. So this is really time to do a end-to-end service on it. So if I can get all the parts for it quickly, it should be for a quick job. It should make for a quick job, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see you on the next part here. We're gonna go out and enjoy a little bit of time with the family for a little while, and we'll get back after this tonight. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. Hey everybody in YouTube land. Thought that I'd just make a little quick video. We took the afternoon off. This morning I was working on the King Quad, trying to get the bike torn apart so that I can figure out what all the parts that I need for it. And then we took a little break to come out, me and Mrs. A and the family, along with my mom and dad and my brother and his girlfriend and his son, and then my sister with her son, a long-term family friend, actually my nephew's sister. So yeah, pretty cool to have the whole family out here. And where we're at, I think would make lots of people jealous. If I just pan the camera like this, you will see that this is the Northumberland Strait, which obviously connects to the Atlantic Ocean. We are in Atlantic Canada, right on the beach. Let me pan. Oh, there's my brother and his son acting crazy over here. Nice, huh? And here's the beach, which is awesome. And here's Mrs. A right here. Say hi. Hello. So we're just hanging out at the beach this afternoon, and then this evening we'll get back to tearing down some of the ATV and, you know, getting episode 4 finished up here and online. Oh, that wave went right up the shorts. It's a little cold this time of year, I'll tell you. Yeah, Atlantic Ocean, some parts of the Atlantic Ocean have the coldest waters and highest tides and stuff like that, so it never really does get warm. But, you know, there is warmer seasons than others, and right now is not one of those warmer seasons. So anyway, glad you guys were able to come with us just on this little jaunt. We're almost done here. We're actually going to head back to our home, which is about an hour and a half, maybe an hour, 15, doesn't really matter, south of here. So we're going to head back down there and get some work done. There's Ellie playing in the water there now. Little Ellie Bean. Okay, see you guys back at the garage in a few minutes. Actually, a second for you. It's going to be a couple hours for me. See you then. Hey everybody, good morning. So we're the next day. It's Sunday. It's pretty early morning. It's a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful morning. Yesterday I got some of the bike torn down, all the plastics off, which was relatively easy, but I only had a little bit of time to work on it yesterday morning before we went out for our little family outing. Had a great time yesterday. I got to hang out with the fam and my brother, my sister, and their families, and it was wicked fun. We had a great time out at the shore. For those of you who are around the world and want to check out where we were at a place called Les Dunes de Bactouche. And it's crazy. Google it. It's a 24-kilometer dune with a big boardwalk on it and beaches and everything else. And it's a little late in the season to go visit something like that, I guess. But for me, it was perfect. I really enjoyed myself. So I had a great time. Had a little picnic. The kids went riding with my father on their bicycles, and it was just a great time. Anyway, I got back last night, and we got the kids all bathed from the beach water and all ready for bed. And then I ended up heading out to one of the pubs to go and see my friend Gareth play guitar. And it was great. I ended up playing some songs with him, and yeah, we had a great time. And so then anyway, this morning, I woke up and I said, okay, well, it's time that I grab the bike, take a couple more pieces off of it, and then bring it outside to get a really, really good wash of the engine and the frame and all that. See, like around the oil cap and around the oil filter, you know, there's quite a bit of dirt there. And as you twist those off, you know, you really run the risk of getting any dirt inside the motor. So I want to make sure that I clean up that especially. But, you know, in and around the skid plate and all that, I just want to make sure it's really, really clean as I've got it torn down. It's just so much easier to work on when it's clean. So I'm going to do that. You can join along with me. Sorry for my voice. I was singing a little bit last night, a little bit too hard. But yeah, let's have some fun. Let's get this bike torn down. This is part 2. I think this is going to be a 3-part series. So episode 1, episode 4, and I don't know, maybe episode 7 or 8 will end up being, you know, the part replacement and rebuild of the bike. So really today is about getting the rest of it torn down, getting it cleaned up, and finding out what I need so that when I go into town this week, I can pick up some parts for it so we can get some work done on it. So anyway, let's get to it. It's going to be fun. Okay, just a little recap of where we are so far. So, as you can see, all the plastics are gone on the front end anyway. The back end here, the plastics are, I mean, it's not that hard to take it off, but there's a lot of electrical that's kind of housed within this plastics. So like the CDI box, the battery itself, the fuse panel, the controller for the winch as well. So it's just not necessary for me to do that. I can access the bearings and the A-frames, A-arms, and the bushings all day long now with all this flexibility in the plastics. On the front end, I am going to swap out the winch, but I also got into a little problem cutting off a bolt. So we're going to have to re-weld a nut on that subframe and get all that together. No big deal. We'll fix that. I'm going to also try to pay a little bit of attention or come up with a solution for the T-stat and whatever's going on there right now with the radiator. At the end of the day, it's not turning on when it's supposed to turn on and the bike's overheating. So I've got the radiator fan kind of hardwired so that it comes on just with, the flick of the switch, and I just got wet. Ha ha ha. Laugh that up. So with the key, it turns on right now. I'd like to try to find out what's actually going on there. I have swapped out the T-stat. I have swapped out this sensor. I have done that kind of work. I think I'm going to go ahead and flush out the... I just find it hard to believe that I have an airlock all this time And maybe I do. Maybe there's a blockage somewhere. I really don't know, but we'll go ahead and flush that system. We're going to check the differential oils, make sure that everything is up to snuff on those. If not, swap them out or top them up. Going to change the oil filter, and make sure that they're all cool. I think that the front end and the suspension system is fine. I'm going to check the bushings in here. I'm also going to check the bearings in the front, make sure that they're okay. In the back, I know that the back right bearing is gone. I can actually feel it clicking as I move the bike. This one here on the left-hand side, I can't feel it as bad, but I think I might swap both of them out just to have them done. I'm also going to do the bushings with the A-arms, and I'm going to look at the rear differential, make sure that the fluids are good in there. And then additionally, I am going to maybe look at a set of shocks for the back end of this bike. Just because I do a lot of towing with the utility trailer, and I want to make sure that it's good and strong. It does feel like it's sagging a little bit in the back end too, and the shocks are to their full tension right now. So, you know, so just I don't know, probably all in maybe I don't know, $300 maybe of repairs. I'm going to quote it all tomorrow, but today I'm going to let it dry for a few minutes. I got a couple of errands I got to run, and then when I get back, I'm going to put it back on the lift, and then after putting it on the lift, that's when we're going to start making a list of everything that we need for the bike. And then it's Sunday now, so nothing's really open, but tomorrow morning I'll call around to the parts stores and see what I can get and how much it's going to be, and we'll go from there. Thanks for joining me thus far. I know there's a lot of time lapsing going on here, but a lot of preparation goes into servicing a machine properly, I think, anyway. If you're not willing to clean it down and make sure that it's I don't know, cleaning is the time to get intimate with the bike, if you will, if I can use that word. Because as you're cleaning it, you're looking at everything, and you're making sure that things are where they need to be. So, anyway, let's let this thing dry in the sun for a little bit. We'll put it up on the lift, and we'll start drawing up that list and start taking things apart to get them prepped for the new parts. All right, cool. Okay, so took a little break from the camera work just to get this situated. Here's the reality. It was much easier in the old garage because I was set up. I had overhead like hanging structure where I had chain falls, and I could lift the bike up. I could lift the whole bike right off the ramp if I wanted to. And everything was structurally sound and everything. And I don't have any of that built in this garage yet, but I will within time. So I have some lumber that was left over from a build that I did, and just decided to do jack stands or whatever. This bike is only 400 some odd pounds, I think. But I can tell, like, already, like, I mean, I'm using full dimension 2x product here, 2x10. It's not going anywhere. So I just put it up on jack stands for now. And I think it's going to work really, really well for just to get this project done. In any case, that was pretty fun. We're done getting it up off the ground. I'm going to take the tires off now, and we're really going to start assessing mechanically what's going on with the bike. I had to go on without you a little bit here. So my neighbor Dale came over, and I explained to him what was going on with the cooling system of the bike, what the main symptoms were, and as I could, the best that I could articulate it was that the fan was never coming on, and then the bike would overheat. So you'd run it for a while, and the bike would overheat after, I don't know how long, half an hour of use, it would overheat, go into limp mode. You'd have to baby it until it cooled down or whatever. So I checked things on my own. I replaced the T-stat. I've got this hoodie in the way. I replaced the T-stat, which is located here. So I got that out of there, put a new one in. No change. the thermal switch up here. This is a fan switch, and it's activated thermally. When the coolant on the inside gets to a certain temperature, it'll flick on, turn on the fan. The switch worked. I tried it in water with the continuity meter, and everything was fine. My levels were good. Everything was fine that way. So this was weird. Couldn't figure it out. Dale came over and we said, okay, let's take the water pump off the bike. So we took the water pump off the bike. We inspected it. We checked it in a big bucket of water, and we hooked a drill to it, and we spun the turbine, and it's moving. It was moving water. It was perfect. Because I thought, well, maybe the water pump's gone. Check the shaft for the water pump, which is connected to the crank by pulling the pull start. Everything's rotating. All the linkage is there. Everything's working great. So again, we were kind of at a stumbling block. By the time we got the water pump off, we had drained the system. So we added water back to the system just to, test out what was going on. We put everything back together. We put everything, we checked this hose. We checked the hose, the return hose, all of the ducting we checked. We blew through it. We made sure that there wasn't any blockage. So we put it all back together, lid off, started the machine, and let it warm up really, really good. I have to tell you that before we took it apart, Dale didn't think that there was any flow happening in the radiator. He opened it up and he could see inside here, and there wasn't really anything flowing. And he was like, there's got to be a blockage or an airlock or something. And I had kind of thought all along that there must be an airlock somewhere, but it didn't make sense to me because I had done the fluids properly and everything else. But anyway, so we ran it. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, the radiator got screaming hot. The fan kicked on. Everything worked as it should. So our determination is that there was an airlock. It was an airlock that we were chasing for whatever reason. Once we bled the system from the rad, bled the system from the water pump, and then reintroduced all new fluid, took our time topping it up while setting the engine at different revs. It was really sucking the fluid in, which is great. It panned out. And now we've got the cooling system working on the bike. Let's go take a look at the bearings and stuff because, I don't know, I've hit a wall. And we got to figure that out. Okay, so here we are at a crossroads. I'm trying to figure out what to do here because, I don't want to just throw money at the bike if I don't need to throw money at the bike. That's not my intention at all. I know that it needs the oil changed, absolutely. I know that now I need to flush the radiator system because it's just water in there now. The cold weather is coming. The bushings are all good. The bushings all look very good. And the shocks, I just don't know. But now I'm puzzled at the bearings because I am not getting very much play. I'm not getting hardly any play in this bearing at all. And I know I should have the tire on it because it makes for more leverage and I can really feel what's going on, but it doesn't bother me enough to swap it out. That's the problem. And you're looking at like $65 plus, if the clip or the dust caps go, like $19 for one of them, $17 for the other, $3 for the clip. It's around, give or take, $230 with shipping and everything to get the parts, the bearings for both ends, for both sides on the rear end of the bike. And I'm just wondering if it's necessary. I can't believe what the bushings look like. They look fantastic. Me and my neighbor Dale were looking at them, and you know, they just look great. So I'm not going to change those out. Everything else looks fantastic on it. There's something going on with a rattle on the exhaust, which, you know, we can weld that up. I don't know, kids. I think I'm going to leave it for this time around. I think we'll get at the bearings next time. Yeah. Final answer. Okay, so here's where we're at. I've decided I'm not going to swap out the bearings in the back end. I'm going to let it go for another year. And when we come over to the summer next year, we'll take the back end apart again. We'll see what's going on and how things are performing. I'm getting a little tired seeing the bike up on the lift. So I want to get it all back together. You know, I am going to swap out the brakes. I'm going to put new brakes on the front because it's time. But everything else we're going to put off. I'm going to do the oil change. I'm going to add some proper radiator fluid to it, and we'll get it all back together and get it back working. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. Join me. Let's do it. Here I am in selfie mode, editing episode 4, and lost a little piece of footage where I wanted to explain to the folks that, you know, this was really a 3-part series here. You know, the first part being digging out the ramp and getting the bike ready, and then the second part getting the bike torn down, assessing what we need, and, you know, trying to be practical about it as well. And then episode, you know, the third part of this, which will be episode 6 or 7, I believe, we will actually go ahead, do the oil change, and do everything that we need to do on the bike, and put it back together, get it back on its wheels. So that'll all be in one episode as well. So that's coming up. On our next episode, though, we are going to be looking at the potatoes. Remember, we put them all in the drying racks. They've been sitting there for about a week and a half now. We actually want to package those and get them ready for storage. So we're pretty excited about that. In the coming weeks, we're going to be tilling that garden out, as well as our neighbor's garden. We're going to do all of that work and get all of that stuff done. So we're pretty excited. The next couple of weeks is going to be busy. It is really raining outside here at the homestead. We're using this time to get some much needed work done, some editing in the studio here, and looking forward to getting these videos out there. And if you have any ideas, you want to see us do something, please put it in the comments. Always love the comments when you folks are talking amongst yourselves or giving us tips or tricks. We will try to get back to every single one of those comments. Like and subscribe helps us a lot via the YouTube algorithm, as we all know, and help spread the word, get the channel out there. We're having a lot of fun making these videos, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of great stuff coming. Home renovations, massive home renovations. We got 3 bridges to build down in the trail system, which we haven't even shown you yet, and just a lot of projects coming up. We are hauling wood for our neighbors from the road down to the storage end of his property, where he does all this bucking and splitting. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're using both tractors, his grapple. It's going to be great. So stick with us. Like and subscribe if you haven't done it already, please. And we'll see you on the next video. Till then, take care of one another.